Go over it. You can walk. Manage yourself. Hello. See, please. Baba, see, please. I'm not talking, okay? I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you.
Who is it? Who in be now? How people do their work now?
A bookseller has been declared wanted for trying to overthrow the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Protesters are facing the death penalty for treason. This is under a progressive government. Now, those that thought that APC would be Nigeria's salvation, you can see what is happening. P2B dodged the bullet. Really, P2B escaped an attempt to charge him with treason. When you look at the foreign national, British national, and the Nigerian who has been accused of trying to overthrow Tinubu's government, this may have been the fate of a P2B, because the Yoruba media decided to pin protests on. They said P2B was sponsoring the protest. They said it did not even go down well. You see, these days are not the days of when we had just the traditional media, whereby they could take anything and you could not counter it immediately. All of a sudden, people had to rise up and said, Igbos are not part of the protest. If not, this would have been the fate of a P2B. P2B understood their games and decided not to get himself involved or interfere. He waited for Atiku to comment on the protest before he did so, because the plan this government is having for a P2B, it is not a good one. They have not recovered from the trauma, and that trauma is when P2B beats Jagaban in Lagos. This is historical. Just like when Nnamdi Azikiwe beat Awolowo in the Southwest, the same thing has repeated itself. And the same strategy Awolowo used against Zik was the same strategy that the APC under Tinubu is using. They used during the gubernatorial election and they are using now. They have decided to make sure that they take an all-out war of tribal hate and bigotry that may even lead to genocide on the Igbos by sponsoring different people from all corners. They are a team. They have their strikers, they have their defenders, they have their midfielders. The midfielders are the ones that are standing on the fence, supporting the government and trying to put the government in shape. But they are APCs. They are the weapon fashioned against the Igbos, P2B, and the Obedient Movement. These three people were said to be the ones that were sponsoring the protests. Now, under a progressive government, you see, you are charging 10 protesters of treason because of they had 6 count charge. Mutiny was one of them. They also said that they were trying to overthrow Tinubu's government. They attacked police facilities and everything. They were inciting the public against the government. They were collaborating with foreign nationals so as to overthrow Tinubu's government. How possible is that? And we know that the government does not have what it takes to prove them guilty. They have never really won in court against any agitator. Can you point out any agitator that the government has really gone on a fair square in court and they were able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that these persons are guilty and they won in court? Only what they can do is delay tactics. That is what they can do. The video you just watched is the Binance guy. Look at how the judicial system is working in Nigeria, and this video is going to be watched by international communities. Now the president is in China to get investors. The other time he had a traveling spree. He traveled and traveled, Dubai is back, visas, this, that. At the end of the day, we did not get any tangible investment in Nigeria. All is just propaganda. I will repeat it and I will continue to repeat it. Any information from the Southwest media, I have to cross-check it myself wherever, because everybody now is into the business of twisting or bringing a narrative that will support evil, and have to fact-check. Even this thing they say, Igbo coup, I need to go and look at history again and read the history of how the war was fought, or how Nzogu carried out his attacks or his killings, whatever, who were involved, from different authors to understand, so that somebody will not come and twist the fact. Peter Obi has proven that he's a wise person, that the government he knows and understands will not hold him and pin him on anything. They know the Tinubu government. That's why there's a coalition that is coming, a tsunami that is coming. If it has to do with compromising, you see, these guys are desperate to the fact that they might compromise. They might compromise themselves, all for Tinubu to leave that place 2027. Now, we know about PDOM Nigeria. After 28 days, he has been charged to court. So he will be found in court. We are going to see him in court. I don't know whether he's going to be hooded, whether they are going to cover his face, or whether they are going to show his face. These are human rights abuse. The government is known typically for human rights abuse. If it were a sane society, the citizens will be so angry that they will burst the streets and they will make sure that they put the government in order. But everybody is just watching helplessly, like a leopard that seizes a predator, in the midst of hundreds of antelopes. The predator grabs one of the antelopes, while other antelopes were watching helplessly as the predator, the leopard, devours their member. This is what Nigerians are doing. You are there watching the government predating on Nigerians, and everybody fold their hands and watch, waiting for who is going to be next. Waiting for who is going to be next. These guys are brave guys. I love their spirit and courage. But one thing these people don't understand is that if you arrest somebody, you persecute somebody, you are making that person stronger. There's not how you go to prison and come out as a weak person. If you are going to be a weak person, you may die in prison if you are not that strong. But when you go to prison and you come out, you become stronger. You become a different person. I was arrested at a point in time. I got into the cell at a very young age. I got into cell because of an altercation with the girlfriend of a police. We had a little altercation. So because her boyfriend is a police, so the police had to arrest me and put me in cell as a young man, very young, below the age of even getting into a police station. But because of this, far back, a long time ago, because of the way the structure is, we know what we are doing in Nigeria. When we tell you that police is one of the most corrupt organizations, in fact, the security parastatal is one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. You think that we are not talking from experience. At a young age of 14, 15, I was arrested and put in cell. When I stayed in that cell and I came out, probably 1 or 2 days, I think it was 1 day, 1 or 2 days, my God, I came out a different person. I was much more stubborn than I was. I had the guts to even go back to that place. So you hounding men that wants a better country, subjecting them to torture and everything, you think you are going to break their spirit. No, you are creating more of their likes and their types. Holding them, you are deifying them, you are making them much more popular. When they come out, which they will come out of that place, whether the judicial system is going to play their politics of delaying justice, excusing a judge transfers to that judge, they adjourn, the judge go for recess, while people are languishing. And these people are men and women who call themselves honorables, who have children, who have families, and their families are at the mercy of the creator of the heavens and the earth. These are the people we have. So the plan for P2B did not work, and it will never work. You see, I'm saying all these things not because I don't know where I want the country to go. You see, it is restructuring that is going to solve this whole thing. The only thing P2B can do at this point in time, if he gets into government, he exposes the cabals, or he does something different, or he restores hope. You see, Nigerians were hopeful of P2B. I'm telling you, majority of the people, despite the fact that some people they made sure that some people don't have the franchise to vote. They make sure they denied some people voting a P2B. If not, if everybody had a voter's card, there's no how they would have rigged the election and rigged it successfully. They started by looking at your name. They deprive you of a voter's card. Your name looks like a name from a different region. I had this experience. That's what I'm saying. Some of us had to go back and go back and go back and go back. Some of us used influence to get mercy so as to get a voter's card. Some other people that I know that are of a particular tribe had to go back and they were sent back, come back. This is an intentional delay. They had to delay them until it got to a point whereby the date they gave to collect your voter's card elapsed, and these people could not get voter's card. And this happened to thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. That's why you could see voter's card in the dustbin, in the gutters. Thousands of voter's card in the gutters. While some people will be looking for their voter's card, some other people will be dumping this voter's card in the gutters. A treasonable offense. Nobody will be persecuted, nobody will be arrested, nobody will be investigated. But yet Nigeria moves on. So behold your Tinubu, and we are talking about if it doesn't get to you now, and you look at this getting to other persons, don't worry, one of these days you experience it. If you don't experience it in your lifetime, your children will experience it, and they will lay curse on your grave because you supported an evil and unprogressive government, a government that is disadvantageous to its people, a government that is planning for the end of Nigerians. That is what people are supporting. You know, one funny thing is that APC supporters, some people supporting this government, know that the government has failed, but they will never want an Obi to become president. Instead, let them not vote and let them show you the kind of hatred they have for Obi, how evil bigotry and hatred is. They will prefer that Obi does not become president. Instead, let Tinubu, they want to manage Tinubu. Some of them are Christians, they go to church. They want to reap good from evil. They will try and try and try and try to be reap, to make sure that they, in one way or the other, even though Tinubu does not perform, let him perform 1% out of 100%. Let them try. Even though his government policies are killing people, let's see a way whereby we can, instead of OP to come and give us good governance, no. Let's make sure that Tinubu is there, at least manage. It's just like you have something, a shoe you are wearing. You just manage. Instead of getting a new shoe that will save you the stress, you want to manage it. You see, bigotry is a disease. Bigotry is a disease. We thank God that this is not the fate of a P2B. And if P2B were to be charged for treason, you will see a different form of agitation. You see, agitation is being stock up. When you do something and you think that you can get away with it, you will get to a point in time that, you know one thing about people adapt. People adapt to situation. When you bring death penalty for people that are protesting, that will not stop people from protesting. No. There's an October 1st protest. You see people come out to protest. That will not stop people from protesting. It will not stop them at all. They will only devise a different means. You see, when the bird is flying in a certain way, the hunter will now learn how to shoot in a certain way. So it is not going to stop anybody from protesting. Good luck to the government in power for setting a precedent. You said a precedent whereby you are subduing the people you're serving with hunger. You are stepping on their fundamental human rights. Good luck. This is a government that has said the principal fought for democracy. Your Southwest lies is being debunked. This is a person that fought for democracy. That's how we had all the lies that he went to so college, so this, so that. At the end of the day, it all became lies. Now, this is the person that fought for democracy, and this is how a democratically elected government is behaving. a democratically elected government. Just look at the video of a foreign national, how he's being treated in a Nigerian judicial system. You intentionally would want to make sure that these guys face trauma under your care. Only God knows what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is facing in the hands of the DSS and all the security agencies. Like I said, we know that when Nnamdi Kanu was going through his own travel, Nigerians were laughing at him and saying all sort of things. Now you can see the same regime that you support against a Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing the same thing to you, especially for the fact that your spirit is small, lily-livered. Your spirit is lily-livered. And when they met the same thing they met on Nnamdi Kanu, you come to understand that Nigeria is not a place that needs to stay together. They must break this union, and this union so as to benefit the people. We have the regionalism on the table of the federal government. We have people calling for balkanization. We have people calling for restructuring. And this cause will continue to be heated and heated and heated until the Yoruba finish their presidency, because now it is South and North. Yoruba's turn for presidency. Until Yoruba finish their presidency, let's see how it is going to span. If Yoruba is going to finish 4 years, 8 years, but I still stand on my ground and said Tinubu is going to spend that 8 years. I've never seen how. I don't see the guts. Do Nigerians have the guts? Do Nigerians have the guts to stand and withstand a Tinubu? Do Nigerians have the guts? Because Igbos are not really interested in anything in Nigeria and whatever it is. Not that it is an intimidation or it's a plan to put fear in the minds of Igbos. You see, we are never interested. We will continue to castigate the government, but we are never interested in protest. We are never interested. The people that did protest all this while, we are the civil society that are mainly headed by the Southwest. If you look at civil society organizations in Nigeria, they are mainly headed by the Southwest. And are you not surprised that under Tinubu, they all went cold, they all went underground. Nobody's coming out to do a protest except the Showore team and some other people. Nobody's coming out to do a protest. When Jonathan was there, civil society organizations, like over 100, mainly, largely headed by the Yoruba folks, were out there protesting. Buhari now, Tinubu, nobody. If you come out to say you want to protest, they will say Tiwan yo eronu o. These are human beings that wants to die and go to a place whereby a God which is languageless, does not have an ethnic group, will not accept them for having hate on the people he created. You are hating the person God created, and you think you see, Igbo to the mud, Hausa to the mud, Fulani to the mud, Yoruba to the mud. Human beings and nature, our consciousness, our conscience, that is what is much more important than any other thing that is going to count in the scheme of things. You think that because you are Yoruba, you need to denigrate other people or whatever. You need to support evil. You don't support. I don't know how to explain this thing, but we just thank God that all the forces fashioned against P2B could not see him. They were planning this treasonable charge for P2B, but at the end of the day, P2B jump and pass. And now they have formed an obedient movement, and that movement is going to shake. Movement has come to stay. Beyond Nigeria, the obedient movement is an African thing. It's going to spread to other African countries, other continents. The obedient movement is now global. It's global. It's beyond Nigeria. Nigeria is just a mere geographical expression, just like Awolowo put it. It's a geographical expression. The father of bigotry. You see, according to a report, I read a report saying Awolowo is the father of bigotry. Yes, there might be one or two things that have been said by other people, but somebody that played it as a politics in the Southwest, they played it as a politics. That is why he's being called the father of bigotry. Although it is not reasonable for you to leave your region and come to another region to contest to dominate those people in that region, it is not reasonable. I use the word reasonable, but it may be reasonable if there is a constitution, a law that supports that. If you are in a union and a law supports that, you can it is not a crime for you to come from another place and go to another place. You understand? If it's not a crime, then you are law abiding. But my brother, we know what has happened in the past, and we are rewriting history. We are going to look at history, and we are going to put the facts down. We thank God that the government, in the second year, it has shown its true color, and there will be a reply very soon.